G'day viewers, welcome to look at the 4746 from Skyhook Games. It's part of the Train Simulator Classic TS Pro range. Let's jump in and see how to set it up. This one's in the OSTD blue livery. It also comes in an OEBB red CityJet livery. Apart from the livery, they are the same. Alright, we need to activate the cab first with this key, and we've got our pantograph and our main switch are already set. We can set the direction with the reverser, either push it away for forwards or pull it towards you for reverse, or the usual W and S keys. All right, we can open the doors with this, or we can the door side selector, or alternately we can use the T key like usual, which is my preference. Now you'll notice up here there's a blue icon where my cursor is. That shows us the doors are closed. When I press T, you'll notice it goes to yellow for open. Don't move the train when the doors are open. Continuing our setup, there's a book light, should you like it. You can turn on the instrument lights with I like usual. You can use V like usual for the wipers, or you can turn them on here. We can release our terrain brake because we don't need it, because our combined throttle brake is in the braking range, 20% at the moment, which is fine. And you can hear our doors starting to close back there. Our headlights are set in white front, red back, so that's fine, but you can also set them as white wide or off, or white front and off in the back, whatever your heart desires. Alright then, now it comes with SIFA and PZB enabled by default, so if you want to turn SIFA off, it's Shift 7 turns it off, or Shift 7 turns it back on again. Do this before you drive, or it gets a little bit confused if you do it out on the road. Similarly with PZB, if you want to turn it off, Shift 8 to turn it off, and Shift 8 to turn it back on again. The PZB levers, we've got Acknowledge, which is the usual page down. We've got Free, which is the usual end. And we've got Bevel, or Command, which is the usual del key. Now, acknowledging SIFA is done with spacebar. So that's pretty normal for the Austro-German locomotives, not so normal for the Western ones. So resetting is with spacebar. All right, let's get underway. Our doors are closed. We've got our blue icon over here. So usual keys, A to accelerate, D to decelerate. Brakes have released. You can see that on the gauge over here. They've gone down to 0. And away we go. Now, looking at the screen here, we are in PZB monitoring, 45 kilometers an hour. We could release that because we just went through a green signal, but I'm going to leave it the way it is for now. And I want to show you one of the cool features as we take off from here. So as we approach 40, I'm just going to bring it back to T0. That's a kind of cruise control. Spacebar to reset SIFA or acknowledge SIFA. And it's maintaining our cruise control at 38. Q is the big noisy horn, and you've also got N for a low horn and B for a clown horn. So we haven't quite come out of monitoring yet, so I'll just leave our speed the way it is. Now, this time round, next time SIFA fires off, I'm going to let it stop the train so I can show you how to reset that. Now, it does have a destination display, and there goes SIFA. We're just going to let that do its thing, and it'll stop us. I couldn't get the destination display to actually work, so I think I followed the manual for this. So we'll shut SIFA up, we'll just acknowledge it. And normally you press flag, type in your route number, and the example they gave is 71, but it says computer says no, so there you go. Anyway, getting out of the situation with SIFA, we've stopped, so you want to bring it back in fully into the braking range. You see that the brake system's reacted there. It's recharged the brake pipe. The red needle's gone back up, and the white needle has partially released the brakes down from about 4.5 bar down to 2. Now, sometimes when you stop, you may also need to do a PZB acknowledge if it was PZB that stopped you. But in this case, it's SIFA, so we don't have to do that. We should now be able to accelerate. There we go. Brakes have released. The whites come back down to 0, and away we go. Now, if you stream or record, I would suggest turning SIFA off, because if you're outside the electric multiple unit, or EMU, you can't hear it, which is kind of annoying. So I'll wait till it goes off again and I'll show you the outside. There we go. Let's have a look at the outside quickly. Very quickly, in fact. Alright, we're going to start decelerating now because we're getting very close to our station. Let's go some gentle braking because we are actually going uphill. I'm also speeding rather a lot. That's okay. Not really. I'm being naughty. There's SIFA again, acknowledged with space. Now it does have relatively good brakes. We're half a K out from the station. So I'll give it a bit more braking now. It's important to stop with all of your cars in the platform. Yes, and I know Germans and Austrians don't honk the horn for crossings, but I like it. So just bringing our train to a stop in the platform. There we go. Pop outside and watch the doors open. T for doors. Now, even if the tiniest bit of your coupler is over the end of the platform, the doors on that car won't open. So just bear that in mind. It does take a little while for the doors to start closing again. You'll see that happen usually before the timer for the loading runs out. And they close independently of one another. There we go. It sounds like the furthest one. No, it's the center one starting to close. And now the N2. All right. Back in the cab. And we can take off again. So just come out of braking range and back into acceleration. It does go pretty well. I'm going to go outside and shut up now. And we made it back in without triggering SIFA. This is good. Alright then, so we're heading off to our next station, which is 3 kilometres away. I am, of course, speeding again, because I'm naughty. So I'll just bring the speed back down, acknowledging SIFA with space. And now we can go to T0, which will maintain the near 70 for us. Now the manual also talks about it having the Y and C keys to increase and decrease cruise control. I found it doesn't actually do that. Now there might be something that I didn't switch on. I was having a look through all of the keys and I can't find something. Now it does have the Roadrunner feature. So let's say this was a speed board and I think it's, is it Shift E? No, just E. So if I press E twice here for this crossing, it should, when the back of our train, there you go, back of the train goes past, it goes meep meep. So it lets you know. So let's pretend that this distance board coming up is actually a speed board. So let's say we're allowed to go faster and we want to know when the back of our train gets past it. You press E twice. And when we get to the back of it, there you go. That means you now know that you're allowed to go faster. We've got a down gradient and a lower speed limit coming up. So I'll just start braking to reach that speed before we get there. SIFA with the spacebar again. Too much braking, and back to T0 to maintain this speed. Now I'm not using Rail-Driver with this, I am driving with keyboard because the way they've managed the combined brake and throttle with the Rail-Driver is quite frankly terrible. It's only using the first quadrant of the throttle lever, which means when you, by monkey motion, go to push back to throttle 0, you go into emergency braking instead, which is just wonderful. Thank you, Skyhook. But apart from that, it looks pretty good, it sounds pretty good, and it operates quite well, so I don't mind that. Hopefully they'll fix the rail driver issue in an upcoming release. Now we'll stop here at Zagrad, and we'll call this tutorial an end. Acknowledging SIFA with space again. This one's a bit of a tighter platform because it's closer to the train link, so we need to be a little bit more careful. If you need it, there is a sand button there. Alright, let's get the doors open. People can jump in and out. And that, my friends, is it. I hope this has been useful for you. I think it's a pretty decent train. It's got a couple of little issues that I spotted and talked about there, but nothing earth-shattering. So, yeah, if you like Austrian and German trains, well, you might like this one because it's a bit of a change from the usual red. Alrighty, have fun. See you later.